The Galactic Council watched Earth from far beyond its moon. To them, the planet looked loud and scattered. Old reports said humans argued often, fought over borders, and moved too slowly to agree. The Council believed that when pressure came, Earth would break into noise and fear. In a small control room on Earth, Alex sat alone during the late shift. The room was plain and quiet, filled with soft screen light and a low hum from machines. Alex had worked this job for years. Most nights were slow. He checked numbers, adjusted signals, and waited for morning. That night was different. A new pattern appeared on his screen. It was not random noise. It repeated, paused, then repeated again. Alex leaned closer. His heart beat faster, but his hands stayed steady. He ran checks to make sure the system was working. Everything looked normal. The signal was real. Alex did not shout or panic. He followed the rules. He logged the event and sent a short message to his supervisor. Within minutes, other stations saw the same signal. The message spread quietly through secure channels. Scientists, engineers, and planners were alerted. The signal did not carry words, but it carried order. It showed intent. Across the world, small rooms like Alex's became active. People came in early. Coffee was poured. Screens lit up. No alarms sounded in the streets. No emergency news broke yet. Leaders agreed to wait, listen, and confirm. In one city, Emma reviewed shared data links. She worked with teams from other countries, some she had never spoken to before. The tone was calm. Messages were clear and short. No one claimed control. Everyone focused on understanding the signal. In another place, David read reports and made lists. What systems could be affected? What needed protection first? He spoke to farmers, power workers, and transport managers. Each group was asked the same thing: stay ready, stay calm, share updates. The council watched these early hours with interest. Their models predicted confusion by now. Instead, they saw quiet motion. Planes stayed on schedule. Power grids stayed balanced. Networks were not flooded with false stories. On Earth, governments spoke behind closed doors. Old rivals joined the same calls. No one raised voices. No one walked out. They agreed on one rule first: no sudden moves. They agreed on a second rule: share everything known even if it felt small. News reached the public slowly and carefully. Officials spoke in plain words. They said something unknown had been detected. They said there was no danger yet. They asked people to continue daily life and trust updates. Some people felt fear, but it did not turn into chaos. Stores did not empty. Roads did not clog. Schools stayed open. People talked at home, at work, and online. Many joked. Some prayed. Most waited. Alex stayed in his chair as the night turned to morning. He watched new data flow in. The signal changed slightly, as if reacting to observation. Teams noticed the same thing and shared notes. Patterns formed. The council adjusted their view screens. They expected shouting crowds and broken chains of command. Instead, they saw humans building quiet lines of cooperation. Each nation kept its place, yet all connected. A council member spoke. They should be arguing. Another replied, they are not. The council tried to see deeper. They searched human history for this behavior. They found wars, protests, and loud speeches. But they also found times of shared effort. Disasters. Recoveries. Long projects that took years. Back on Earth, Alex stood up and stretched. He had not slept, but he felt clear. He looked at the main display again. The signal was still there, steady now, almost patient. He thought about how small his role was. He was just one person in one room. Yet his choice to stay calm had passed forward. Others had done the same. Together, it had shaped the first response. As the sun rose, leaders prepared a joint statement. It was short. It said Earth had detected something unknown. It said Earth was ready to learn more. It did not threaten. It did not beg. The council read the message in silence. They had expected disorder. Instead, they saw a planet that paused, aligned, and moved as one. And the watching continued. Emma sat in front of 3 large screens, each filled with moving lines and soft colors. The room was busy but quiet. People spoke in low voices. Every word mattered. Emma helped manage the global data links, and right now, the world was connected through her screens. Data came in from everywhere. Maps updated in real time. Supply lists changed by the minute. Time schedules aligned across borders that once slowed everything down. Emma watched as systems locked into place like parts of a machine. Old rivals were sharing information without delay. Ports sent shipping paths to former enemies. Rail systems synced their clocks. Air traffic lanes were adjusted to reduce strain. No one argued over credit. No one asked who was in charge. They only asked what was needed next. Emma typed short commands and approved clean data paths. Simple rules guided everything. Share first. Verify twice. Move slow but steady. These rules were easy to follow and people trusted them. Outside the room, life went on. Trains ran on time. Cargo ships moved across oceans with planned gaps between them. Power flowed where it was needed most. Hospitals reported status calmly. Factories adjusted output without panic. The Galactic Council watched all of this with growing confusion. Their screens showed Earth covered in moving lines, but the lines did not clash. They joined, split, and rejoined with purpose. The models predicted breakdown. Instead, they saw balance. One council observer noted the lack of noise. There were no mass signals of fear. No spikes of uncontrolled movement. Communication was steady, not loud. The humans were not shouting into the void. They were listening to each other. Emma leaned back for a moment and rubbed her eyes. She was tired but focused. Messages continued to flow. A rail delay in one country was answered by shipping support from another. A power dip in a city was met with fast adjustment from a shared grid. She remembered lessons from old disaster drills. Keep things simple. Keep people informed. Do not overload systems. Those lessons were now global habits. In another room, planners watched Emma's updates. They trusted her data because it was clear and clean. There was no extra detail, no hidden meaning. Just facts and timing. The council tried to interfere. They sent weak signals meant to confuse tracking systems. Humans noticed the noise, marked it, and filtered it out. No systems crashed. No panic followed. The networks adjusted and moved on. Emma smiled slightly when she saw the correction take place. It was not perfect, but it worked. People corrected mistakes without blame. The goal stayed clear. Public updates went out in calm tones. Officials spoke with the same words across nations. They explained what was known and what was not. They repeated the same simple message: stay aware, stay steady. People listened. The council searched for signs of stress. They found tired faces, long hours, and quiet tension. But they also found trust. Humans trusted systems built together. They trusted shared effort more than fear. Emma checked the master map again. Lines crossed oceans and continents in smooth paths. Time schedules matched despite different time zones. The planet looked busy but not broken. She realized something then. Humans were not organizing because they were ordered to. They were organizing because they chose to. Every small action supported the next one. A council member spoke again. This is not chaos. Another replied, this is preparation. Emma saved her work and passed control to the next shift. She stood and looked at the screens one last time. The world was moving together, quietly and with care. Far away, the council watched Earth and updated their records. Humans were not reacting as expected. They were organizing. David stood in a wide room that once held public meetings. Now it held maps, tables, and calm people at work. He led a civilian task group, not as a commander but as a guide. Everyone in the room had a role, and every role mattered. Farmers sat next to engineers. Teachers worked beside transport workers. Some wore work clothes. Some wore clean shirts. No one cared. They shared notes, pointed at maps, and listened to each other. David spoke in a steady voice. He did not give long speeches. He asked clear questions. What do you need? What can you spare? What breaks if we wait? Answers came fast. A farmer explained crop cycles and storage limits. An engineer talked about power load and weak points. A teacher described how to keep children calm and informed. Each voice added a piece. David linked them together. Across the region, power grids were adjusted. Extra load moved away from stressed lines. Backup systems warmed up, ready but unused. Lights stayed on without flicker. People noticed nothing unusual, and that was the goal. Food was shared with care. Areas with surplus sent supplies to areas with less. No trucks rushed. No shelves emptied. Schedules were planned and followed. Clear labels and simple routes kept everything moving. Messages from the task group were short. 1 page. No extra words. They listed what was known, what was planned, and what was not yet clear. People trusted these messages because they were honest. The Galactic Council watched closely. They decided to test the humans again. Small probes slipped into near space. They sent mixed signals, small delays, and false echoes. The goal was to cause doubt. On Earth, sensors noticed the probes. The data looked strange but not threatening. Teams flagged the errors and shared the findings. The task group met within minutes. David listened as reports came in. He did not rush. He asked for confirmation from 3 sources. When the data matched, he nodded. "Mark it," he said. "Adjust paths. Keep going." Systems shifted slightly. Power routes bent around false readings. Communication paths filtered noise. The probes caused no harm. They were noted and ignored. People stayed focused. In the meeting room, someone made a mistake. A map update was late. Instead of blame, the group fixed it and moved on. Time was more valuable than pride. The council saw this and grew uneasy. Confusion did not spread. Fear did not rise. The humans adapted faster than expected. In small towns, people noticed extra trucks and quiet planning. They asked questions and got simple answers. They helped where they could. Some volunteered time. Some shared tools. Life continued with care. David took a short break and looked out a window. The sky was clear. No signs of danger. He knew that was not the same as safety, but it helped people breathe. He returned to the room and checked the board. Tasks were marked complete. New ones were listed. The pace was steady. The council tried again. A probe sent a stronger signal meant to look like conflict. Earth systems paused, checked, and compared notes. Within minutes, the signal was labeled false. No panic followed. David read the update and allowed himself a small smile. Humans were not perfect, but they learned fast. They trusted process over impulse. As night fell, light stayed on across cities and farms. Food moved where it was needed. Messages stayed clear and short. Far away, the council recorded the results. Humans did not break under pressure. They adjusted, stayed focused, and kept working. The council decided to increase pressure. They believed humans must fail if pushed harder. New false signals were sent. Some arrived early. Some arrived late. Delays appeared in data streams, small but planned. On Earth, alerts blinked on screens. Laura noticed the pattern first. She worked in a coordination center that linked teams across continents. Her job was not to act fast, but to act right. When the alerts came in, she did not raise her voice. "Slow down," she said calmly. "Check before changing anything." Teams listened. Instead of rushing, systems paused. Data was checked against older records. Signals were compared across regions. Something did not match, it was set aside. Nothing big moved until facts were clear. The council watched this with disbelief. Their delays should have caused errors. Their false signals should have forced rushed decisions. Instead, humans slowed even more. Laura sent simple messages. One line at a time. Confirm source. Wait for second check. Share results. Mistakes still happened. A schedule slipped. A power switch changed too early. But the errors were small and they were seen fast. Teams corrected them without blame. The fixes were logged and shared so others could avoid the same issue. Trust grew with every correction. Across continents, people who had never met worked together as if they had for years. Time zones did not matter. When one team rested, another took over. Notes were clear. Handoffs were clean. The council searched for disorder. They expected anger, fear, and loud disagreement. They found none of it. Humans argued less under pressure, not more. They relied on shared rules and quiet checks. In one city, a delay in transport caused concern. Laura's team reviewed the cause, found a false signal, and adjusted routes. Trains resumed within minutes. Passengers barely noticed. In another region, a data link dropped. Backup paths opened as planned. No panic followed. The system worked as designed. Laura watched the global board update in smooth steps. She felt tired but steady. She knew trust was the real system holding everything together. The council finally met in silence. Their screens showed Earth still calm, still organized. No disorder appeared. No collapse came. One member spoke softly. "They are not reacting to us." Another replied, "They are reacting to truth." The council marked a new note in their records. Disorder never arrived. The Galactic Council gathered in their highest chamber. The room was quiet, filled with soft light and slow-moving screens. Each screen showed the same world from different angles. Earth looked calm. Lines of movement were steady. No sharp spikes appeared. The council reviewed the results one last time. They replayed the early hours. They saw the first signals detected. They saw humans pause instead of panic. They watched nations speak instead of threaten. They watched systems connect instead of split. They moved forward in time. They observed shared maps, shared food, and shared power. They saw errors corrected without blame. They saw pressure applied and then ignored. The council searched for weakness. They found stress but not collapse. They found fear but not disorder. They found tired people who kept working together. One council member spoke. They remained unified. Another added, under stress. A third said, without force. The room stayed silent as the final marker appeared on the main screen. Earth, stable. Cooperative. Adaptive. No intervention was approved. The council logged the decision and closed the observation cycle. The screens dimmed. The watchers turned away from Earth, not in defeat but in respect. Far below, on Earth, systems slowly returned to normal settings. Extra backups powered down. Emergency schedules relaxed. Long shifts ended. People went home. In the same small control room where it began, Alex sat alone again. The screens were quieter now. The strange signals had faded into silence. Normal data filled the space once more. Alex leaned back in his chair and exhaled. He felt the weight leave his shoulders. He had not known how much he carried until it was gone. He shut down one screen then another. The room felt larger without the constant alerts. Outside, night had fallen. The sky was clear. Alex stepped outside and looked up. Stars filled the darkness, calm and distant. Somewhere out there, something had watched humanity closely. Something had tested them. Alex did not know the full story. He did not need to. He thought about Emma managing data lines, about David guiding civilian groups, about Laura slowing the world just enough to keep it steady. He thought about millions of quiet choices made by ordinary people. No one had shouted orders. No one had demanded control. People had organized because it mattered. A cool breeze passed. The city behind him was peaceful. Lights glowed softly in windows. Trains moved in the distance. Life continued. Alex smiled faintly. Humanity had not proven strength through force or speed. It had shown something else. That order could rise from trust. That calm could answer pressure. That unity did not need a single voice. Above him, the stars remained silent. Alex turned back toward the building, ready to go home. Tomorrow would be a normal day again. And that felt like a victory.